Okay, so now we get to put it all together, right? We have our dreams. We see where we can improve our schedule, right? We looked at what's on our plate and see the disconnect. We've shifted our focus and realized that there are 7 areas. Some of them we're really strong in, some of them not as strong, and just need a little bit more attention and energy to shift into that. We've gotten some clarity. We've written down our 90-day goals, right? We've broken that down into those baby steps of what are those daily activities that are moving us closer to our goals. I remember one day my husband coming to me and asking me what I was doing that day. And I happened to have my calendar in front of me, my to-do list, and I just rattled off, da 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 da. I am busy, right? And as soon as I said it out loud to him, I realized that not one of those things on my goal, like on my to-do list, was moving me closer towards my big goal. And that's that shift, right? That drift away from being super clear, not having those daily activities that keep us in line, moving us closer to our goals. And once in a while, sure, right? Like not every single day, right? Is it going to be an ideal day towards that goal? But if we go too many days in a row, and then days turn to weeks, weeks to months, months to quarters, and we're looking at, like, when was the last time I called my mom? When was the last time I ate a salad, right? When was the last time we, really put money in, away for a rainy day, right? Or planned this bucket list item or did something to move us towards that. Like it can just drift away. And we're like a bucket of water. It fills in with other stuff, right? Have you ever, do you have a horizontal surface like a kitchen counter or a dining room table or an ironing board, like set up where there's this flat surface in your house that anytime it's cleaned off, like that's where things get piled on, right? The mail comes in, the laundry, the dry cleaning, right? Just all sorts of stuff. Like you come home from an event and you have a goodie bag, right? A swag bag, and here's some notes, and here's somebody else's workbook, and here's all the promo items. Like it just, like, because there's a flat surface, we just stack it on. The same happens with our time, right? Every minute, it's like a flat surface. And if it's blank, right, something's going to fill it. And we either get to fill it with the things we're intentional with, right, by design, by prioritizing on purpose with intention, or something like social media or the TV or whatever, right, is going to come in. And especially if we work from home, right? Laundry and dishes and the dog and the neighbors, right? There's all of these other things. And our time is like that flat surface in our house, just collecting stuff. So we have to clear it off, right? That's what the beginning of the year, that's having this fresh calendar, this fresh slate is. We're going to clear the calendar. And it doesn't have to be January 1. Today is my day 1. Today I start and I'm clearing the calendar. And I'm only putting in the things that matter the most to me. That's what I'm scheduling. That's what goes in the calendar, and I'm color coding it and I'm prioritizing, right? Time blocking is good too, right? I'm doing all my phone calls here. I'm doing all my errands here. I'm doing all my creativity here, right? We're doing all our video recording here. We're time blocking and putting that into chunks of time so that we're more productive and effective, right? But we're going to design it by our rules. So here's how we master that calendar. Number 1, right, is that mirror goal, right? Do you have a picture of what that mirror goal, what would that look like if that came true? There is, if you use Canva, you can create a vision board with your goals. And so if you take like these 7 areas, right, faith, family, fitness, fun, and you can create a little picture collage of if I did this one thing in each of these areas, like this is what this would look like, and create a vision board, something visual. But for your mirror goal, what gets you excited? What would make this an epic year if you did just one thing that you're like, if I did that, That would be amazing. If my business did this, if my family looked like that, if my body looked like this, right? Like my bank account looked like that. If there was this one thing, and you could put that on your mirror that you see every morning and every night when you brush your teeth and wash your face, your miracle, right? Your mirror goal is your miracle. That's your epic thing, right? So when people see, okay, she's working all the time, he's always gone, he's always doing this, he's always at the gym, he's always saving money, he's always like, because that's his miracle. So having your miracle, having a picture of it, a statement of it, an I am statement, right? Because your brain believes whatever you say after the words I am, right? I am healthy, wealthy, and wise, right? I am a loving mother. I am a CEO of $1 million company. I am a global enterprise. I am philanthropic, right? Whatever your I am statement, whatever you say after the words I am, your brain believes it, and it will go to work to solve, to make true. There's the reticular activator system, right? Where you have, like, you buy a new car, and then you never noticed it on the road before, but now you see it everywhere. It was always there, but now you're noticing it and paying attention to it. And so now, right, you've got this goal that you're setting in front of you, and watch how the world shows up, right, to support that. So number one is your miracle. Number two is scheduling weekends off, right? Be brave. Take the big leap and schedule your weekends off, protect it. And what are we going to put in those weekends? The stuff that we're neglecting now, the stuff we feel we don't have time for now. There are things that you're like, I don't have time for sunsets, Angel. I don't have time for beach. I don't have time for dancing. Well, now you do, right? Put it in your weekends. Schedule, the third thing is schedule one day off per week. And by that day off, this is your creativity. This is where you're locking the door to the office and saying, don't interrupt me. I'm not taking any unscheduled calls today. If it's not already in my schedule, I'm not doing it. I'm going to be creative. I'm going to be innovative. I'm going to have time to think, right? Create that vision. Be introspective, prayer, meditation, right? I'm going to focus on me today. I'm going to focus on in the business, not on the business, or on the business, in the business, whatever the second piece is, right? Give yourself some space every single week. Start small. Start with a couple hours, right? An afternoon, right? A Wednesday afternoon. I'm going to take a longer lunch, and I'm going to actually take time to nourish my body during the day. What a novel concept, Angel Tuccy, right? Like, let's take care of you so that you can take care of others. You got to take care of you so you can take care of others. So scheduling one day off per week. Number 4 is we're going to limit your work days. Make time for lunch. End in time for sunset, right? If it's important for you to spend time and have dinner with your family, have dinner with your family. Go back to work if you have to, right? Is it important to you to read to your kids at bedtime? Read to your kids at bedtime. When they're in bed, can you go back to work? Sure. But limit your time so that you are scheduling the things that truly are a priority to you. Do you want to work out every day? Right? Do you want to take a 30-minute walk? Schedule that in. Limit your workday so that you have time for the things that are truly important to you. Now, if you find yourself making excuses, should it be on your plate? Right? Should it be on somebody else's plate? Otherwise, you will find a way. Now, there might be some things you're like, I don't want to work out. Right? I know I need to, I just don't want to. So find something you do love to do. Is it walking the dog? Is it dancing? There's a whole lot of other ways to get fitness and exercise in than riding a Peloton for 45 minutes. Like, just because that's what I'm doing does not mean that's what you need to do too. You do you. Find what you love, right? What is the best exercise for me? The one that I will do, the one that I like to do, the one that I get excited about, or at least I will show up for, right? I'll at least show up for it. 1 week off per quarter. This is tip number 5. We're going to take a week off every quarter. Now, what you do with that, again, the things that you love to do, right? Those bucket list items, those time with family, right? Maybe you're going to a family wedding. Maybe you're taking a vacation, taking your kids somewhere, finally going on that cruise, a week-long bike ride. My husband does week-long bike rides, believe it or not. It's crazy. On a bicycle, in the mountains, sleeping in a tent. Not Angel's idea of fun, but it is his. And so he does it. Right? So you get to do you. Are you starting to get excited about what your life would be like if you were in charge? And where we become in charge is by being the master of our calendar, right? Let the calendar be in control. The calendar gets to be the bad guy. When somebody says, hey, Angel, can you do this? I'm like, let me check my calendar. I want you to get used to saying that phrase. Let me check my calendar. This way, you're not obligated to answer right on the spot. You can give yourself some time. Breathe it in. Does it feel good? Is it in line with my 7, right? Where of my F's does this fit? Or is this just plate filler? And for me, it was a lot of plate filler, right? But by saying I need to check my calendar, which is true, right? Because I could have a conflict, right? I might not. Now, there would be times I would put like a placeholder in of, I didn't necessarily have something in particular. This was before I got all master of my calendar but I would just know like I wanted that Saturday off, right? Or I wanted, some time off. And so I would put an event, a fictitious event in my calendar. And my fictitious event was that I was attending the fiction author conference that day. There's no such thing. But I would tell people that I didn't want to have to answer to. I'm sorry, I can't do that. I'm attending the fiction authors conference that day. Or I'm writing for the fiction authors conference. I'm speaking for the fiction authors conference. Now, people closest to me knew it was a farce, right? Because I had told them, right? The fictitious author event doesn't exist. It's a placeholder in my calendar so that when somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, Angel, can you do this? I look in my calendar. I'm like, oh, shoot, no, I've got this other thing. So, you get to put in, right? Put placeholders into your day, into your week. But my husband and I used to go, we used to schedule going to Mexico, right? How fun is that? 4 times a year. But I don't recommend you tell your friends and family that you're going to Mexico on your week off, because here's what happens. At first, they're super excited for you. You're going to Mexico. How fun. How exciting. Oh, it's going to be beautiful. You're going to have a great time. If the next quarter, like 3 or 4 months later, you're like, we're going back to Mexico. They're like, wait a minute, didn't you just go? Well, yeah. Oh, well, all right. Well, that's kind of cool. You get to go back again. All right. Well, have fun. It'll be beautiful. Good for you. The third time you go, third quarter, they're like, yeah, no, that's not cool. You've already been twice. Right? They just, all of a sudden, all that love and excitement and like you're getting to go on vacation, and they realize you are now going on your 3rd vacation this year while they're stuck being busy and looking at their plate and their life. And they're like, I'm too busy and I can't get away. And we haven't saved for that or become a marginaire yet. They're not happy for you. And so the 4th time you just go in secret. But scheduling time, and even this, like we need to get to be where we're supporting people when they're taking time off, celebrating them for not just being busy all the time and being fillers, but celebrate and lean in. You're going on vacation, you're taking a day off, you're taking some time for you, you're getting a massage, right? You're going to dance class. These are things we need to be celebrating and encouraging our coworkers and our friends and our colleagues to go off and do. When I first started taking Tuesdays off, right, for my friends and family, I would do it in secret. Like we would go to Disney. I'm like, don't post my pictures here. Don't tell anybody I'm here. Nobody knows. They think I'm working. And I was like, I was embarrassed to tell people I wasn't working in the middle of the week. This is backwards. The reason we're in business, the reason we do what we do is so that we can control our life and design our life. And so let's not be embarrassed. Let's not shame people for taking some time off, for having family time, for personal care, for self-care. Let's go and cheerlead and rah-rah, right, for that. And so that's part of what I'm here to do, is change the narrative, create abundance in all 7 areas of your life. And that's part of what we're doing in this ULA Inner Circle, is creating abundance in all areas of your life. If you haven't checked it out, $45 a month, right? It is super awesome to give you all the tools, all the access, and all the success. It's designed to be a year-long program, and I want you in my inner circle for the entire year. Number 6, we're going to plan holidays, anniversaries, birthdays, and special days. Like I said, I have 2 nieces getting married next year. Guess what's on my calendar? Guess what's going around that, right? Will there be other events that conflict? Yep, already. I'm already seeing it. I'm like, shoot, but it's okay, right? I've already put the family event in there. That's something we're going to go off and do, and we're making it a priority. By having some flex time into my schedule when things come up that, like right now, you don't know everything that's going to come up next year, right? We can only kind of see the next 90 days. There will be things that come up that are not on your calendar right now in the next 90 days, but we have some flexibility built in, right? We have some wiggle room. So if you have an afternoon off, right? Well, instead of taking that afternoon off, I'm going to switch it so that I can go and do this other thing. I have some flexibility now in my schedule. It's not so tight. There's blank space. I want you to have some blank space on your plate. I want you to have some blank space on your calendar. So when I see it color coded, when it's completely color coded, unless I put all the fun stuff in, right? But I really would like to have some blank space in there too. I want some downtime. I want some white space. I want some blank time that it's not so tight. Number 7 is scheduling your quarterly marketing campaigns and your PR campaigns. So as you set up your business goals, right? What are the 12, right? So we have 4 big goals that we're going to hit this year for our business. And we're going to break those down into those baby steps so that we've got our PR campaigns. We're going to create headlines, extra, read all about it. Right? I published a book. I launched a course. I started a membership program. Right? I'm speaking on these stages. I'm automating my business. I'm becoming a marginaire, right? These are all these fabulous things that as you are doing them, we can start to create publicity around it. So I want you to schedule your quarterly PR campaigns. You guys saw we did that with Albert's example. A $100,000 a year coaching business breaks that down. That's 5 clients a quarter. How do you break this down into those baby steps so that it's manageable with those 3 activities, right? Every single day that are getting you closer. Number 8. Yeah, it's your daily action, your daily steps that are going to move you closer to your mirror goals. What are you going to do today? What are you going to do today? And I want you to celebrate. Number 9, celebrate the baby steps. Celebrate the milestones, the small wins every single day. Like at the end of the day, are you recognizing how far you've come and what you've done and where you're going? Right? Or are you just falling into bed, just absolutely exhausted to get up and do the same thing the next day, right? With no clarity, no focus, no celebration, no wins. I want you to celebrate. It's pouring yourself something bubbly, right? I showed you, like, this is one of my new favorite things. It's this sparkling water, right? No sugar, no caffeine, no nothing. And yet it's delicious. It's delicious, right? What are those little things? Surround yourself with your favorite things that just bring you joy every single day. So now as you look at you and you're mastering your calendar, what are the gaps? What are you missing? Right? Who has the tools and the resources to help you grow even faster? Who do you need to align with? What community do you need to be involved with that are like, they are going places? I can't just hang out with these stuck in the mud people anymore that are all full of excuses and woe is me and you know, down in the dumps. I need to be around people who are doing epic things and excited about their future, that are giving hope and light into the world. Right? So who has the resources? Who are the groups you need to associate with? Because here's this thing, is you cannot do epic things with icky people. You just can't. If people are icky, they're not going to be epic. You cannot do epic things with icky people. So stop hanging out with people you have to carry. Hang out with people you can run with. right? That are running towards something exciting, running towards a goal, running to cross a finish line. And not because they're not enjoying the journey, they just know they have epic things to do. And we were not just meant to just sit and spin on a wheel and to be frustrated and to out of focus and crazy and gritchy and whiny, right? We were meant to have joy and peace and harmony and love, and just to have that like shooting out of our fingertips, like rays of sunshine. And when you have control over your calendar, when you are the master of the calendar and you are super focused on these 7 areas in your life, then everything is shifting. It's like having all the spark plugs in your car, right? Like all 7 of them. Not that I'm a car girl, but anyways, my dad taught me how to change spark plugs when I was a little girl, and it was one of my favorite memories with my dad. Right? He's still around, but that was just one of the. I just remember him helping me or teaching me how to change the spark plugs. But remember this: that whatever you feed your mind, you become. So who are you listening to? Pay attention to that. Are people around you feeding you, right? Lifting you up, or are they planting seeds of doubt? And if they are, less time with them, right? Less time. As Carrie Conley would say, move them to the back row, move them to the balcony. In fact, Carrie so much believes in the front row. She didn't want me to be in the balcony during the Nashville Palooza. She's like, Angel, I can't have you up in the balcony. You need to be in the front row with me. And so like she walks her talk every single day. Carrie, do you want to come on and say anything about the ULA platform and the mission and the vision and where all that's going?
Oh, honey, you just rock. I can't wait to see you tomorrow or Friday or whenever that is. Um, I joined ULA in June with Angel, and it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made, you all. Not only is it a tool that is changing people's lives just very, very simply, but in a very, really, really fun way. And I cannot say enough about the founders who started this whole mission. They are 2 of the most amazing men I've ever met. And they just have a really big mission. They want to change 1 billion lives over the next 7 years, financially, with their families, with their health, their businesses, all the things. So I'm just thrilled to be here and be a part of it and have you be a part of it too, Angel Girl. And I'm going to correct you just a little bit that the monthly membership's 47 instead of
Okay.
45.
Oh,
$2 difference, big deal. But
no, that's an important piece. That's an important
yeah,
piece. Yes.
no, I'm
Okay.
thrilled
Thank
to
you.
be here with you. This was awesome. Thank you. Look, I got my calendar. I got my little sticky notes in different colors. I
Perfect.
can't wait to put it all together.
I'm excited. I'm excited. I know this is something like we talk about all the time is the calendar and the perfect planner system and yeah, comparing and trying out different things. It's crazy, right? How many different options there are. Like this is a big deal for people like to get control of their calendar. The whole planner system world is huge, right? But when you get into a place where you're like, I know where I'm going, and I mean, if I just did a couple things today, I don't have to have 8 hours, but if I just did these few things today, I'm going to get closer, right? And I'm going to move the needle just a little bit every day. And by the end of the year, you look back and you're like, dang, right? I did good. I did good stuff. So awesome, Carrie. Thank you for talking about ULA and correcting me. But it is an incredible online community, abundant thinkers, right? People that they are moving and they're making a big impact in the world. And that's who you want to hang out with. So one of the gaps in your list, right, of things, you're like, okay, I just need to be around more positive people. I need to be around people that are making an impact, that are growing, and they're going fast. That's what this ULA community is all about. So if that's one of the gaps, if one of the gaps is tools and resources, right? Or funds or finances, right? Let's figure out where those gaps are. Sometimes, right, we're like, okay, I'm going to do all these things, right? I'm going to get it all done, right? But it's really like, what are the gaps? So I just attended a mastermind in the Bahamas a few weeks ago. And one of our goals, my business goals, is growing our press release subscription service. And one of the gaps, and it's like, what are my gaps? And so we can say this is where we're going and what we want to do, and that's all good, right? Oh, I'm gonna go and get this exposure, and I'm gonna speak on these stages, and I'm gonna create this, and we're gonna do. But the thing that I'm missing, or the thing that's standing in the way, and what we discovered, the thing that is standing in the way was Angel. Because the only way to enroll in our subscription service was to have a conversation with me. Well, if the only way to do business with you is to have a conversation with you, you're going to max out. You're going to get to a place where you're not taking all those calls and not available. Or even if you can take 100 calls, like at some point, there's going to be a maximum that you can handle. And so what are the gaps as you look at your 7 areas? Think, well, who do I need to know? What do I need to have? What tools, what resources, what communities? And make sure that you're taking the action, right? To replace and to solve for what those gaps might be. But distractions become a whole less of an issue, right? When you are focused on your one clear mirror goal. When you've got your mirror goal, when you've got your 90-day goal in front of you, the distractions and people coming in and saying, hey, can you and would you, and I need you over here, you're like, hold on, I got to do this first, right? I'll get to that after I do this, right? And you just know then for sure, right? The things that are most important to you, right? The highest priority is in your schedule, and it's a sacred appointment. We're not moving it around. We're not letting somebody else take over it. So I had done that for a while, right? I had scheduled in my lunchtime, and then I started filling it, right? I started filling over it. I wasn't holding it as an important appointment, right? I was allowing other things to get into it. And, after a couple of weeks, you're like, okay, I allowed for this boundary that I had set in place to be wishy-washy. I'm putting it back in, right? And I'm holding it dear, right? And so the gap there, I realized, was the time I had put it in, right? There was too much other things, like too much other demand and requests. So I just found another time where it was least likely to be an issue, right? So finding where the gaps are, like, okay, how can I make this work, right? If we want to, we will find a way. If we don't want to, we will find an excuse. Instead of having to have willpower, go 100% all in. Like, I am doing this. I am building this. I am growing this. I am eating this. I am not eating that, right? I am fueling, I'm feeding, I'm refreshing, I'm hanging out with, I'm scheduling, right? Put this way, you don't have to decide, am I, right? I work out every day, right? Instead of, is this a day I work out, right? Is this a day I'm drinking more water? Is this a day that no, like, I do it as a matter of habit and routine. Put your bucket list on your mirror, right? Because if you don't, and put a date on it. If you don't put a date on it, it will never happen. So I have the link for the workbook. I'm going to find it here. Hold on. There's a workbook and a downloadable PDF, which is like a 1-pager for your year. So you can schedule your quarterly campaigns. So let me know if you guys can, if that link works for the workbook and the downloadable PDF for the 1-pager. And then I'm going to put in, here is the link to sign up and enroll as a member to get your ULA Life membership going and get that started. And then we have one more link that is, if you want to check out doing press releases and having a press release put out for you, it's evenmorepress.com. Thank you. It is downloadable. Awesome. Actually, I have the wrong link in here. Even More Press. Hold on. There it is. Okay, so here is the website for the press releases, right? Hopefully that works. Our press release subscription service, if you are going to be doing marketing campaigns, you want to make sure that you've got publicity behind it. We automate it, we write it, we distribute it, and we put it out for you every single month so that you are getting featured on thousands of media news desks over the course of the next year. So if more exposure is on your to-do list, then scheduled or a subscription to our press release subscription service is absolutely key. You need more publicity. So lots of resources, right? I gave you lots of tools, lots of my favorite things, lots of ideas, lots of love. What are your comments, thoughts, suggestions? What are you gonna do first? What are you gonna do next? What was your favorite part?